Howdy YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Gunman. So this video here is a review and demonstration on the latest from ANIR, which is the ANIR Tronic. So what you see here is the 2-gun kit with the glass face on it. So that does look pretty awesome. It's a pretty snazzy looking spray gun setup there. And the Tronic comes from electronic, being that it's got the electronic gauges on it. As you can see there, we've got this little bag. It comes with a couple of different pots, and there's also some seals and some spare parts in there. Obviously your instructions, and I do quite like that foam cutout where you've got the 2 guns that can go in there. But this gun here does come in a couple of different options, so you can get the gun by itself. They come in at about $630, so the gun just by itself, they are definitely a reasonably priced gun, especially for the quality. But if you wanted this one here, the 2 guns in the kit with the case, and you're looking at about $1,400, give or take. So yeah, it is starting to creep up there, but hey, it's 2 spray guns. Now me personally, look, as much as I do like that case, I don't get that much use out of them. I don't have much of a reason to sort of go from shop to shop, but if you do, well then potentially you can get the value out of having that case. So like I say, generally these guns, they just sit up on my gun rack, so the case is just sitting there not doing much for most of the time. But again, thank you to Spray Guns Direct for sending it out for purpose of review. As you can see here, this is the clear coat one, the other one is the base coat gun. They've got the swivels down the bottom, so that's something that some people do like. They're a good looking spray gun. As you can see, there's been some updates on it compared to the ANIR Black, but you may have also noticed that the gun here is based off the ANIR Black. So ANIR spray guns are made in Italy, so I've been introduced. ANIR spray guns are made in Italy. I was introduced to them first back in 2015, and straight away I loved them. So back then I had not really heard of them. It was actually Chris from Spray Guns Direct who did send the first one out. They sent me the F150, I think it was back then, and the R160. And I know that I did a review on that, and I got loads of people around the world onto the ANIR brand. And yeah, ever since then, I've been a massive fan. And talking about massive fans, these spray guns do have particularly massive spray fans on them. But as you can see there, we've got some spare parts. There's some spare parts for the digital gauges if need be. Now, I've actually done a separate video on how to remove and replace your batteries in those gauges. They last a lifetime. They're super cheap. I got a pack of 10 batteries for $10 off Amazon, right? So rest assured, when you buy one of these, that gauge is going to last for ages. I've had an ANIR Black with basically the same gauge on it for over 5 years. You can douse them in thinners, you can abuse them, you can, treat them rough, and they will just continue to work. They're also really easy to pull off. They've added a little name on them now called Click 2. That's the name of the gauge. I highly recommend them. And another thing that I do love about ANIR is they're reasonably priced. So like I say, made in Italy to a high, quality standard, but they're not going to break the bank. So like these days with a DV1 or your SATAs or your iWatters, they're all like over $1,000, by the time you get your digital. So this one here, digital, you're looking at $630. Like that is, if you ask me, that's a bargain. And as you are about to see, they definitely perform in the spray booth well. Have a look at the size of that fan, a nice big even spray fan on them. So I've got the 1.3 on this here. Now I'll be taking you through the paintwork on this Mazda CX-3, I think it might have been. Yeah, Mazda CX-3. We'll do the candy stage. So I was a little bit hesitant, to be completely honest, because previously I was using my Pro Light with a 1.3 for candy, and it wasn't giving me the best results, to be completely honest. It was giving me like blotchy, mottly candy. And then when I moved on from that one, I moved to the SATA CC, and I swore by that gun for years. I was using the SATA CC for, over a year at the very least. And then I didn't want to change, right? Because I was just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, but look, I put my faith in this spray gun to even give it a try. I'm like, look, I'll give it a try on this bonnet and see how it goes. And yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. Like I say, nice and even. I didn't get the blotchiness that I was getting from the Pro Light, but I actually found that it got the candy down smoother and like less orange peel than what I was even getting out of the SATA CC. So this is going to be my candy gun moving forward. What I have done since doing this review is actually put the 1.2 on it, the clear coat, and I am preferring that. So as much as the 1.3 smashes it on and it gets you a nice sort of glassy clear coat, I've actually found restricting it a little bit more with the 1.2 is just more suited to potentially even the clears that I'm using and the finishes that I'm looking for. I don't actually have any footage of that. I was going to go back and re-edit and adjust this video, but I thought, you know what, I've already edited the video, we'll get this one together and we'll get this video made up for you guys. And in the future, in the coming weeks, I'm going to be doing a couple more videos where you can see me spraying the 1.2 clear with the with the same spray gun, so the ANIR Tronic. But this is 1.3, that's the finishes that I got, and look, that is a really good finish. Like, that is smooth and silky, it is even, like you can see some minor mottling, but you're always going to get that, even with the SATA CC. The only way to really stop that is by putting more and more coats of candy on, and then what that does is it changes the color. So I've found 2 coats of candy is perfect for these. Trust me, I've done quite a few. I've probably done over 150. And yeah, this one here, it's one of the best ones. It seems like for the last sort of few months, every time I do one, like it's like one of the best I've ever done. I guess practice makes perfect, right? And the ability to, identify an issue and adjust your methods as necessary. But yeah, here we go, looking at the other gun. So this is the base gun, again with the 1.3, but the base air cap. One thing I actually did at one point was use the base coat cap for clear, and I can tell you now, it's totally fine. I haven't used the clear cap for base coat, I just didn't even think of that, to be honest, but there was one stage I'm just like, hey, I'm going to use that base gun and see what it's like for clear, and it was totally fine. So what I'm spraying here is the PPG 1 Visit. As you can see there, I went ahead and did the entire car, but that's the silky smooth results that you get with it. Now, to be completely fair, most guns can produce. It's more critical how you spray it than what you spray it with. That's what I found, and I found the same thing with the Stando Blue and their 1 Visit system, which is very similar to this. It's not identical, but it's very similar. I've actually found, believe it or not, the PPG 1 Visit is a little bit more user-friendly. Like, if you want to puff in a little bit or you find an imperfection, it's easier to sort of just add an extra coat than with the Stando Blue, because you'll get some bad profiling with that Stando Blue and then it'll kill the life out of your clear coat. Whereas with the PPG 1 Visit, I don't seem to get that. But there you go, there's the candy down on the entire respray, again with the 1.3 clear. I kind of had to, because especially with these candy jobs here, whatever you do on one panel, you have to replicate that on the rest of the car. So I'd already sprayed the bonnet and tailgate with a 1.3 clear, so I had to continue on. And actually at this point I did not have the 1.2, which I would potentially recommend for many people in the smash repair industry. I'd recommend getting the 1.2, but again, they're probably cheap parts. Like, if you wanted to order the 1.3 and just get a 1.2 as an extra, it's probably only going to cost you I don't know, maybe $50. I don't quote me on that, I haven't actually looked into it, but I would not be surprised if they're affordable. But yeah, there you go, ANIR Tronic. So the pressures that I aim for is 2.5 bar with clear coats. But what I'll do on my final clear, so the clear, this was candy, of course. So I went 2.5 bar, full fan, full fluid. But then when we're doing our final shiny clear, I went for 2.8 bar, like closer to 3 bar on my first coat, and then lower that pressure back down to 2.5 bar for the final coat. So a few things are happening there. When I'm raising that pressure, it puts a thinner coat on, it sets up the orange peel or minimal or lack thereof orange peel, because the lower pressure will get a thicker finish on and get that thicker orange peel. So the higher pressure gets a thinner coat on, reduces the risk of solvent boil because, you know, a thin coat's gonna dry quicker, so you can just put that thin coat on, bang, go straight away with your second coat without having to sort of wait between coats. You know, obviously you've given it some time because the amount of time it takes to get around the car, you've still let it flash off for. But this is the car here after it's all been polished up, looking $1 million, thanks to my man Irfan for doing the polishing work for me. But have a look at that. They come out so good. Sprayed all the door jambs on these Mazdas now. It does take quite a substantial amount of extra time to do it. But yeah, all the door handles, bumpers, all those trims, all painted, all looking nice and shiny. The cars look awesome. They hold that killer gloss retention, no solvent boil, minimum to no sort of paint defects. We go over all the edges to make sure they look nice. Absolutely wrapped with the results that we're pumping out of this shop. So, but yeah, ANIR Tronic, absolutely love it. If you would like to buy yourself one, be sure to go and check out the link in the description. Just to finish off here, I thought I'd give you guys a look at this other job here that I painted. So this was a flow coat, so that's why it's sort of taken to the next level, and we've got a video coming up of me flow coating that in the next coming weeks or two. So be sure to stick around, subscribe if you're not already, follow me on all my socials, there's links in the description. Although I was recently banned off Facebook and Instagram for absolutely no reason, well, they didn't give me any reason anyway. Now, I did actually end up starting a new Instagram account, so if you are a follower or you do have an Instagram account, be sure to go and check out the link in the description to my new Instagram account. I haven't bothered with Facebook. Until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out.